And welcome back to the channel where we talk about only good comics. I'm Brant, and this is Friday First. This is that series where we talk about those brand new #1 issues, those new character debuts, new story arcs, and the like. And this is the 50th episode of Friday First. Happy Friday the 13th. It just so happened to fall on that date. So I thought it was fitting to wear my Stranger Things shirt for the episode. And I'm excited to talk about some books because I have a ton of books to talk about with you today. It's going to be an extended episode. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I put out a poll a few weeks ago asking how should I celebrate? Should I celebrate on the 50th episode, the 52nd? And I thought about it, and it's just been so busy that I forgot that this was the 50th episode this week, and it kind of crept up on me. And then it was Friday the 13th, and I'm like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little bit of a different format, just slight changes in the visuals and in the lineup, the way that I do it. It happens to be such a huge week this week coming up next week, which is for books coming out on September 18th, 2024. So there's a lot of books to talk about this week. And then I'll talk about towards the end of the show what we're going to do for the 52nd episode, which is in a couple of weeks. It's that year mark. And, I'm going to see what I can put together for you all to enjoy. So we'll see what happens. But for this show, I've got, let me think. It is 22 books total to talk about in the first issues coming out. So I've kind of split them up. I'm doing 9 honorable mentions / shout outs. And then I'm going to do a top 13 kind of most anticipated firsts. Those are the ones that I'm rating with the possible potential, etc. So I figured, that's very fitting. We'll do 13 there. But before that, I've got 6 books I'm going to recap from last week. And then I've got the typical 8 at the end that are not first issues to talk about as well. So a lot to get through. Not a whole lot of spooky books coming out this week. So not a lot of that kind of thing to talk about. And I didn't have time to prepare to do something spooky-ish for the countdown or any kind of countdown or whatever thing like that. So, but there are a few, and hopefully keeping with the numbering, and we'll just I don't know. I'm not good at the Friday the 13th thing. Horror is not my genre, so I just figured that I would have a little fun with it. My colors are orange and black here, so that I've got that going. I mean, at the very least. But let's get into some recaps from last week. Like I said, I've read 6 of the books from last week so far, so I'm going to run through those, and we'll go from there, and we'll see how the show goes. Maybe I'll mix it up a little bit here and there. So we'll start with one that's a little bit horrific in nature, I guess, which is Geiger issue number 6. This was the epilogue to the first arc. This is all about Barney, who did survive. By the way, if you read the book, you know that. So thankful for that. But this story is all about Barney, who kind of has lost his mojo and comes across some other animals in a zoo and some hunters, and kind of makes some friends and challenges the hunters and kind of gets his mojo back through protecting these animals that are terrified for their lives, and kind of starts a revolution with these zoo animals. So it's kind of a very interesting issue and kind of a sidetrack from the main story going on with Geiger and the Knight, which I think Nate is his name, Tariq and Nate. So I really enjoyed this issue. It was just something completely unexpected, something that you don't typically get in this book, but it was a fun, focused story. With these animals overcoming these cruel hunters that were just hunting them down for sport and for money. So if you like that kind of thing, you'll enjoy this issue. I know I did. Next up, we have Summer Shadows issue number 1. from Dark Horse. This is about a guy whose boyfriend breaks up with him through a letter. At first he got distant, then he breaks up with him through a letter, and then kind of disappears. So this is him going to this Greek island, Araxis, I believe it's the name of it, to find him and just get some closure. And some weird things start happening. He befriends this other character who their friend went missing, and then there's mysterious circumstances as to how they went missing, why they went missing, involves other people, and there's like visions, and you definitely get a supernatural vibe from this. I don't know whether it's going heaven and hell or God, Greek mythology kind of thing. I don't know where it's going with it. It's very vague with this first issue, but it's a great setup. The dialogue and the pacing is really on point for it. The art, a little sketchy in places, but overall pretty strong. So I thought this issue did enough to bring me back for a second issue because I'm kind of hooked on the mystery of it. But at the same time, it didn't blow me away. It's like, but it was a decent read. And I would continue the story just for the mystery of it, just to find out what's going on. And then once I found out that mystery, then I would determine, is this book for me or not? So that's where I'm at with it. Next up, we have Dead Eyes, The Empty Frames. Dead Eyes is finally returned by Jerry Duggan and John McCrae. The first volume was really good. So this one sees Dead Eyes. He gets a line on these on this crime that took place a while back, I guess years ago, where some bumbling crooks stole some paintings from a museum, roughly cut them out of the frames. Then they disappeared. The cops couldn't find them, but Dead Eyes feels like he knows where they are. He's trying to put together a team, and he goes on a heist, and it's really basically that easy. There's a setup for that job. There's a lot of fighting. He fights some guards. He fights some other people. He fights some crooked cops in this. He's got some drama going on with his family as well, which involves the crooked cops. So a lot happened in this, and I feel like it's going to connect all together. Really strong first issue. I'm really excited to continue reading this series. Next up, we have Venom War Wolverine issue 1. I don't know if this was a one-shot or not. Probably, maybe. I'm not sure. If not, it's a very small mini-series. But yeah, no, it has to continue based on what happened at the end, come to think of it. So basically, Wolverine's just trying to stay out of all this. He encounters, somebody at a bar that happens to get infected with one of these zombiotes, which infects him. And then, he goes to a familiar setting, from a story from the past. Doesn't know really how he ended up there, but his past is coming up. He's trying to avoid all this, doesn't want anything to do with any of this, but he just can't escape his his calling, I guess, as an X-Men, as a protector. And we'll see what happens with the next issue. But I thought it was a pretty fun issue. And I think the writing was very current with the younger characters and everything. It was a pretty decent read. It was a fun read, and I enjoyed this tie-in to the Venom War. Speaking of Wolverine, we have Wolverine issue number 1, continuing that same thread. Wolverine. This is post Krakoa, and presumably prior to Uncanny X-Men, because Wolverine is off in the Canadian forest running with a pack of wolves. He's just kind of trying to decompress, leave all that stuff behind. With the X-Men, just kind of become one with nature again. But a familiar villain from his past, is hunting him. Nightcrawler's going looking for him as well. And then you have the confrontation that, kind of happens and pulls Wolverine out of his feral state, out of, his decompression, his thinking and everything, and snaps him back to reality. He's never going to escape this because he's got too many enemies. He's made too many enemies in his life, and there are too many people to save. So he has to get back with it. And because of what happened, and because of some other power that has come up from the earth that is very connected to both Wolverine and this enemy. Without spoiling it, he's going to have a lot on his hands. I thought it was a pretty decent first issue. I think I actually like the story in the Venom War tie-in better, but I am very curious what this force of nature is that is coming after Wolverine now, and how that connects to him and his past, and these villains, and how that's going to tie into his life with with Nightcrawler and the Uncanny X-Men and all that stuff. So I'm very intrigued by the events of this issue. Really strong art in this issue as well. So pretty solid start for the new volume of Wolverine. And finally, we have Avengers Assemble issue 1. I think this is a 5-issue miniseries. This is the emergency response team of the Avengers, led by Captain America, Steve Rogers. And we get some classic Avengers in like Hawkeye and Hercules and Wonder Man and She-Hulk and characters like that. And then you get some newcomers like Julie Power, aka I think it's Lightspeed now, Night Thrasher, and Shang-Chi. So some of them are early, and I think it's Photon, Shang-Chi, Captain America, and who is the fourth one? Wasp, I think. I think the four of them, maybe Shang-Chi. Yeah, I said Shang-Chi. The four of them have to go deal with Red Skull's daughter, because she's stolen an artifact that's given her extra power and it's unleashing hate everywhere. And then in the meantime, the other members of the squad are showing up and just kind of having a good time around the Avengers mansion. It felt very classic, very old school in that way. I remember reading Avengers comics back in the 90s and 2000s, where that exact thing happened. You would have certain characters on a mission and others just chilling at the mansion, flirting with each other, or just having a good time, playing cards, whatever. This was that very similar vibe. It made me long for that kind of Avengers book, actually. And I'm kind of sad that this is only a 5-issue miniseries, especially when you have characters I like Julie Power and Lightspeed. Julie Power and Night Thrasher, and Hawkeye and Photon and etc. Just a really good mix of characters in this book. I really enjoyed this issue, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series. So that is it for the recaps. So now with the honorable mentions and the shout outs, I'm doing it a little bit differently, just to differentiate from the top 13, since there are so many books, and I wanted to keep it that 13 kind of vibe, just for Friday the 13th and all that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this a little bit differently, so bear with me. Let me know what you think, and I'm not gonna do it this way every week, because it adds a lot more work in setting this show up, because I'm doing like some extra graphics and stuff like that, and B, I don't always have this many books to talk about. So all right, we've got 2 shout outs to start us off. The first one is R.L. Stine's The Graveyard Club. And this is a shout out because Carola Borelli is doing the art on this. Also, this is just for fans of R.L. Stine's books. You might want to check this out from Boom Studios. But Carola Borelli, I had the pleasure to work with her. She is amazing. And I always want to highlight any book that she is on. So this is a first issue. If you are a fan of either Carola or R.L. Stine books, go check this one out. The next shout out is for Violator Origin, I think is the official title of this, issue 1 from Image. This is a Spawn related book, and that's why it's a shout out for my good buddy Mike Spiderslayer. I don't know if you're a fan of the Violator character, but if you are, this is the origin story, and it's coming out, and you might want to check it out. So there's a shout out for Mike Spiderslayer. All right, now we're into our honorable mentions. The first one is the Batman Day 2024 Batman/Elmer Fudd Special issue 1. There is literally no description of this. I have no idea what the heck this is. It's 48 pages. It's $5.99, and there are actually 2 versions, which brings us to our next honorable mention, which is the Batman Day 2024 Batman/Elmer Fudd Special Noir, which I assume is just a black and white version. I don't know if there's any difference between the two or not. but it is also 48 pages and $5.99. So I'm assuming it's just a black and white edition of it. I don't know what this is, but it looks interesting. If it really is a serious version of Elmer Fudd, I had to include it in the honorable mentions. So next up we have Multiverse Collision Detected, which is based on the hit video game in comic book form, which obviously involves the Warner Brothers characters. You've got what is it, Steven Universe, you got Bugs Bunny there, and you got the Justice League. That's just crazy stuff going on. If you're a fan of the video game, you might want to check out the comic tie-in as well. Next, we have Deathlock 50th Anniversary Special. If you are a big Deathlock fan, I've never been a big fan of the character, but if you are, this has story and art by creators like Justina Ireland, Christopher Priest, Dale Eaglesham, Carl Pagulayan, Dennis Cohen, Luke Ross, and Matthew Waite. So it's going to have all kinds of stories. It is a 32-page book for $4.99. But again, if you are a big Deathlock fan, you'll want to pick this one up. Next, we have Jim Henson's Labyrinth, issue number 1. This is celebrating the landmark 40th anniversary of the Labyrinth film. And in Jim Henson, it says Jim Henson's seminal film in 2025, Boom Studios proudly presents the first ever graphic adaptation of A.C.H. Smith's beloved novelization, which includes moments and scenes never shot or captured in the final feature film. So if you are a big Labyrinth fan and you want to check this out, the creative team behind this is Kyla Vanderkloot, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, with art by Giorgio Spalletta. The art is from the Alice Never After and Alice Ever After books from Boom as well. And the writer is the same writer that did Demon in the Wood. If you're familiar with any of those titles, that's the creative team behind this. And if you're a Jim Henson fan, you want to check this out. The next honorable mention is Ryan Stegman's The Missionary from Distillery. I checked out the preview of this, and it's just not my style of book, and that's why it's in the honorable mention and not in the main thing. It's just, it goes a little too far into the satanic for me. So sometimes those books just don't, resonate with me personally, and that's fine. I love Ryan Stegman. I love, his art and writing style. So this is pretty cool. If you are a big Ryan Stegman fan, you'll want to check this out for sure. This is a 48-page book for $8.99 in magazine format. The art is by Jason Howard. So Brian is writing this. So just keep that in mind. I'm a big Jason Howard art fan as well, but just not the book for me, but it might be the book for you, so it gets an honorable mention. And finally, we have Spider-Boy Annual issue number 1. This is part 8 of the Infinity Watch story. I'm still so far behind in this, but this is, and it also, of course, continues the backup of the Death Stone saga with that particular character in play. So that is it for the honorable mentions and shout outs. So we are going to get into those ranked books now and get to the good part, right? All right, coming in at 13, we have Kerpow, issue number 1. This is from Scout Comics, and this is a really interesting concept. I'm not familiar with the creative team, which is Tom Fyans and Julio Brilha, if I pronounced that correctly. But the concept is really interesting. So a kid sees his dad, who is a low-level henchman, kill basically the Batman and Robin of this universe, the seminal superhero and sidekick combination. When he's young, it traumatizes him, scars him for life. When he gets older, he starts getting haunted by the sidekick character, and this apparition and this kid have to stop his father from having this criminal empire. So it's a really interesting concept. And if you can get your hands on this, it might be worth checking out because it sounds pretty cool, right? So I'm giving this one a promisingly good, even though it's coming in at 13. The numbering of this is arbitrary. To be honest, I just wanted to keep it at 13. kind of vibe. But it is a promisingly good for me for Kerpow. Next up is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation #1 coming in at 12. This is by Tom Waltz, and it seems to be continuing the storyline from the previous run that went 100 and some odd issues, instead of following the current continuity that came out this week. So I'm confused by that a little bit. This and also the art is by Vincenzo Federici. It says, after the events of the Armageddon game, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles found themselves at a crossroads, attempting to keep their family united while individually feeling the need to break away and explore life in the world. So maybe it is tying in to all that. Yeah, it says Raphael jumps on his motorcycle and heads west, going on a road trip. He's held hostage at some point. So maybe what this is kind of a prequel to what's going on in the mains. I really don't know how this ties into the other series, but either way, I am a fan of both, so I'm very curious about this one. I'm going to give this one a potentially good, just because, again, I don't know where this fits in, but I am excited to check it out. Coming in at 11, we have Spirits of Vengeance issue #1. This is by writers Sabir Pirzada and Sean Damian Hill as the artist. Sabir Pirzada, if you recall, has written several of the Miss Marvel, or co-written with Iman Vellani, several of the Miss Marvel miniseries of late. I've had the pleasure to work with Sabir in the past as a letterer, so I'm always, happy to shout out books that Sabir is working on, and I happen to write like Sabir's writing. So I'm not a big Ghostwriter fan, but I'm going to give this one a shot because of that, and also because you're involving all the Ghostwriter mythos here. You got Johnny Blaze, Danny Catch, Robbie Reyes, the Hood, Kushala. All these people are involved, and it sounds like a fun time. $4.99 book for 32 pages. I'm here for it. I'm going to give it a potentially good, and we'll see what happens with it. Speaking of Sabir, Venomore Lethal Protectors #1, also written by Sabir Pirzada, with art by Luca Maresca. And this features Silver Sable and the Symbiote Squad as they join Venom in this whole fight. We're going to see Scream, Riot, Agony, Lasher, and Phage all involved in this, going up against the Zombiotes, I assume. So that sounds like a fun time to me. I've been enjoying all the Venomore stuff. Not all the tie-ins are perfect, but I think overall the whole thing has been pretty fun. It's not something you have to read, but I am enjoying it, so I'm going to check this out as well, and I'm going to give it a potentially good. And that's Venomore Lethal Protector. Keeping that Venomore train rolling or going, or whatever term you want to use, Venomore Deadpool issue #1, written by Cullen Bunn, has Deadpool joining the fray and, going against a horde of these zombiote characters. So, Cullen Bunn, Deadpool, zombiotes, sounds like a horrific time to me. And so I'm going to give this one a potentially good as well. I just hope these continue to be fun reads for me and for you and for everyone. Coming in at 8 from Mad Cave Studios is the Body Trade #1. This is by Zach Thompson with art by Jock. Not the J-O-C-K Jock, but a J-O-K Jock. I guess I'm not familiar, or it's a misspelling. I don't know. But anyway, this looked interesting. The cover is what caught my attention. I actually did not read the description too closely, but this cover looked really interesting to me. Mad Cave puts out some phenomenal books. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. It says, Kim Krillick is a divorced ex-con who's trying to atone. However, his short temper tends to get the best of him. When he returns to Florida to bury his estranged son, basically he finds an empty grave, and he sets out to reclaim his corpse. But because he does this, it causes everything to spiral out of control. It's a revenge story, and it sounds like it's going to get deep and has a lot of bloodshed and brutality. It's going to be violent. yeah, so a very interesting book. The art looks solid. If that covers any indication. Um, so yeah, I'm going to give this one a possibly good, just because again, I don't know a whole lot about it, and that's that could be a very deep story, and you just never know how those are going to affect you individually. So we'll see. At number 7, we have the Masked Macher #1 or Macher. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But this is from Dark Horse. This is by David A. Goodman and Alex Andres. This is set in the 1930s, and it's about this actor who's trying to get his big break and just becomes a wrestler. I guess to try to get out there, because why not? And that's it's acting in a way. So that sounds like a pretty fun concept to me. The cover looks fun as well. I'm a big wrestling fan, of course. So yeah, this seems like something right up my alley and something I definitely want to check out. So I'm going to give it a potentially good, and hope that it's a lot of fun, because I don't know. I like fun, unique stuff. It's a 4-issue miniseries. It looks like Yiddish for Big Shot. Oh, there you go. It's the Masked Big Shot. That's what it stands for. There you go. I didn't. It was right there on the cover, and I didn't even see it. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm down for that. So let me know if you check this book out. I would love to hear your thoughts, especially if, like me, you're a wrestling fan. Coming in at number 6, perfect number for this book, and right here on Friday the 13th, we have Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue number 0. Now, this is a reprint. I have not read this story, and that's why I included it on here in case, like me, you haven't. This was the final collaboration between Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. It is a prologue to The Last Halloween. And it is a 48-page book for $3.99 cardstock cover. So if you are a big fan of like The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, those stories, if you're a Tim Sale, Jeff Loeb fan, and you missed this somewhere along the way, or you just want to have every version, go check this out. I'm, definitely going to give this one a promisingly good, because of the level of talent here. So there you go. That's Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, issue number 0, reprint. At number 5, we have a brand new series from Image Comics. This is the Tin Can Society. It's a mini series, and it is from Giant Generator, that imprint. And it is written by Peter Warren with art by Francesco Mobili. I can't remember whose imprint this is. That's gonna bug me. Somebody help me out. Whose imprint is Giant Generator? Is that Reminders, or is that someone else's? There's so many imprints at Image these days; it's hard to keep track. But anyway, this the name and the cover caught my attention immediately, and then when I read the description, it pulled me in even more. It's about this guy named Johnny Moore, who is a tech mogul who masquerades as, well, not masquerades, but moonlights as a vigilante named Caliburn, but he's found dead, murdered, and somebody stole his suit. And his best friends from childhood that he's kind of lost touch with are the ones that have to solve his murder. So that sounds like a fun concept to me. It's the kind of story that I would write. Definitely the kind of story that I would read, the kind of movie that I would watch. Sounds right up my alley. And I'm kind of excited for this one. So I'm giving this one a promisingly good. And I can't wait to read this one. This is really one of my most anticipated for next week. So hopefully it does not disappoint. At number 4, we have Absolute Power Super Son issue number 1. This is following the events of Absolute Power 1 and 2. All of the things that happened with John got turned into a cyborg controlled by Amanda Waller and the Brainiac Queen. In issue 2, I think it was, or was it 3? I don't know. Some point he got free of all that and reunited with the heroes and stuff. But he's gone through it. He's dealing with some stuff. This is a 48-page issue for $5.99. It's co-written by Sina Grace and Nicole Maines, with art by John Timms and Travis Mercer. And so yeah, he's dealing with things from his past, uh, and I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be an exploration into John Kent, and kind of go through everything that he's suffered through by being taken over by Amanda Waller. So sounds like it could be pretty strong. I'm going to give it a potentially good though. Um, some of these tie-ins have been really strong. Some of them have been okay. None of them have really been bad though. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot and see what it's all about. All right, here we go with the top three. Number 3 is Resurgence, issue 1. This is from Alien Books / Valiant. This is what all the books have been building up to since they relaunched under Alien, and this is bringing to head a battle between all the collected heroes who have to choose what side they're on and everything, as the rise of Dr. Silk, an infamous villain that has now become a beacon of hope, comes together. I don't know. There's been I haven't read all the books, so I don't know exactly everything that's going on. I've read stuff here and there. Master Dark is in this. You got Exo Man of War, Bloodshot, The Eternal Warrior, Ninjak, Ivar, Rye, Livewire, Faith, and more are in this. It's written by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad. They're crafting this whole Resurgence thing. So I'm low key excited about this, and I'm really curious to see what they do with it. So I'm giving this one a promisingly good, and I hope this is the start of a bright future for the Valiant universe going forward. Speaking of bright, coming in at number 2 is Dazzler issue number 1. This is written by Jason Liu with art by Rafael Loureiro. I probably butchered that, but anyway, finally getting her own series, and she's got a road crew, and it's a pretty cool road crew. Domino, Strong Guy, and Multiple Man are her road crew. She's going on tour. We're getting lyrics from Allison in every single issue. It sounds like a fun time with a lot of fun characters, and I can't wait to check it out. I have not seen Wolverine Deadpool yet. Deadpool Wolverine. Been busy. Been very busy. So no spoilers in the comments if there's any reference to Dazzler. I still don't know. I've somehow managed to avoid all spoilers for this movie. I don't know how that's possible, but I have. Hopefully I'll get to see it soon. But anyway, yeah, Dazzler is getting a potentially good because I'm not familiar with the writer. And that's the only reason. But it sounds like a lot of fun, and I think I'm gonna like it. But just because I'm not familiar with Jason Liu's writing, I'm gonna stick with that potentially good. But I am looking forward to this book. And finally, at number 1 is a brand new book from Daniel Warren Johnson called "The Moon Is Following Us," issue 1, series premiere. This is from Image Comics. The art is by Riley Rosmo. I didn't even have to read anything about the description about the book, the plot, anything to know that I'm going to check this out. I've become a huge Daniel Warren Johnson fan, from Do a Powerbomb to Transformers. I'm going to seek out his past stuff at some point too, but I'm excited about this one as well. Even though I'm not the hugest Riley Rosmo fan, just not my preferred style of art. That's all there is to that. But I believe in DWJ, so I'm going to check this out. It says Sam and Duncan Lamar love their 6-year-old daughter Penny more than anything in the whole world, but half a year ago she was taken by the Cascade, an evil force they barely understand. Now Sam and Duncan must fight side by side with the magical beings Penny cherished to try and get her back before she's gone forever. Okay, DWJ and magic beings that their 6-year-old kid, that's just right up my alley. That's me to a T. And if this cover art is by Rosmo, I'm not mad about it. Yeah, and it is. I'm not mad about that. I think it fits that concept. So it doesn't always fit is the problem. Especially like when you're talking mainstream superhero books. and that's usually when it's a disconnect for me, but it might fit quite well here. So I'm actually really excited about this. I'm giving this one a promisingly good, and I can't wait to read this. This will probably be the first book that I read. And that's it. That is all the rated books. Those are all the first issues. That was a lot to get through. I hope you enjoyed just a little bit of the twist up there, just for something different, something fun, something just to kind of enjoy this mini celebration, getting ready for the bigger celebration in 2 weeks. So, let's talk about those other anticipated books real quick, and then I'll kind of talk out what I'm thinking for the 52nd episode. So, we've got our list here. We've got Dark Knights of Steel All Winter number 3. I've been enjoying this so far. Towards the end of the second issue, I think it was, or maybe it was the first issue. Everything's black and white. Color's been drained out of the world. Deathstroke encounters this kid that has color to him, and things start to come to life. It's a slow burn, but it's been good. It's been solid. I don't know. It's been a rich story. It's not quite as good as like the main Dark Knights of Steel book was, but I still appreciate the side story. I like the characters. I like this version of Deathstroke, and I like kind of the story as color is kind of bleeding back into the world as life is being breathed into this winter wasteland. I've had fun with it. Wonder Woman number 13 is a Absolute Power tie-in where last issue it's kind of continuing off that, where Wonder Woman and Damian Wayne are teaming up, which was a fun issue for me. I know it wasn't everybody's thing. It was like them sitting around, humor and joking around and stuff like that, and all that stuff. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pairing. I think it's fun, and now it seems like they're going to get into more action in this issue, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm here for it. X-Men number 4. This book is getting better and better. I still don't know quite how I feel about this one. This is the one X book that I'm just like, I like it. I'm enjoying it. I like all the characters involved. The art looks really good. I just don't know what to feel about it. I don't know where it's going, but I do like the story of kind of exploring why mutants are being activated later than puberty and all that stuff, and they're trying to investigate that. And you got all this stuff going on in this little town. It feels very contained, but it's still tied to everything. There's references to the other books, so it's been solid so far, and I'm looking forward to this one as well. The Avengers number 18 sees Hyperion from the Squadron Supreme come into play. It's Hyperion versus Storm, so you got two heavy hitters, an Omega level mutant and a Superman analog fighting against each other. It's going to be a knockdown drag out fight, I think, so it's going to be a fun one. Deadpool number 6. This book has surprised me so much. This has been such a good read. I keep saying I've become a big Cody Ziegler fan. Cody Ziegler is the writer that writes this and Miles Morales. Art is by Roge Antonio or Rohe Antonio. I'm sorry. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but I tried. But anyway, Wade Wilson beat Death Grip, and this is the first issue of a brand new arc. This actually should have been in my rankings. I didn't even realize this was a new arc. So this would have been 14. So positively good for this one. I'll just throw that out there. But yeah, so I can't wait to see what's in store for the next arc of this book. X Factor issue number 2. The first issue was really interesting. The entire team basically died or got beat up, and the B team had to come in with Havoc leading it. There was like that, kind of a problem, argument between Polaris and Havoc. Prior to that, now we have Polaris versus the entire X Factor, and there's a new mutant rebellion coming in this and everything. So, and it looks like there's a traitor on the team as well. So, lots of stuff going on in that book. Destro number 4 is I believe it's the penultimate issue of this series. And the only description we get for this is Destro's kill list. So last issue, it was all about the history of the Destro clan, the battle with the Chameleon, and now he has this kill list that consists of Chameleon, Tomax, Zaymot, and anyone who gets in his way. So that's just fun stuff. And then finally, Kill All Immortals, issue number 3. This is from Dark Horse. This is by Zach Kaplan and Fico Asio. And this book has been phenomenal. It's the Viking family and they're immortals and they're fighting each other. And the sister is trying to protect her boyfriend from the rest of her family, who, because he's a journalist and because he's an outsider, they want him dead. And it's been very bloody, very violent, and it's been so good. And I cannot wait for this. This Frey travels to the mystic Arctic to unlock the family's supernatural origins, and she realizes there's more at stake than her romance and freedom, but how far will she go to overthrow her family's reign is how that one goes. So all other books that I am massively looking forward to next week as well. And that's it. That is finally all the books that I have to talk about in this 50th episode. First of all, before I get into plans and all that stuff, I do want to thank all the viewers of this series and just my channel in general. It's a modest viewing, but I appreciate everybody that followed me over here from Comic Book Weekly, everybody that's found me through TikTok, and everybody that's just kind of found me organically. If you're enjoying this content, I really do appreciate it. This is the kind of channel that I've wanted to do for comics for years and years, and I just can never figure out the right formula. I have another YouTube channel, it's Brant Fowler, where I just can never figure out what to do with that channel. It started off as a singing channel, then it became comics, and then I kind of went to like lettering and stuff like that. I went to vlogging, I went back to comics, I went back to music, and it was all over the place, and it never hit. And I had Comic Book Weekly, I had other stuff, and finally it just kind of made sense to start this channel, a little over a year ago, 2 years, or however long it's been since I started this. And it's been fun. I never envisioned this particular series to be the one that I would stick with. I really thought those Let's Talk videos would be like my bread and butter on that channel, and it just didn't kind of go that way for timing or whatever. But this has become a really fun series for me to do, and I've appreciated it growing and the viewership of it growing and your feedback, your comments, and everything. I look forward to it every week, so I really appreciate it. And if you are enjoying this and you haven't checked me out on TikTok or you haven't checked out the YouTube shorts, I do some fun like 1 minute stuff, 2 minute stuff max on that, and I have a lot of fun with those as well. So you should go check it out at Only Good Comics at TikTok. A lot of fun on that. I'm looking to be more consistent over there too, but usually I'll have at least a few videos up every week. It's just been a really busy month this past month that the past couple weeks I haven't been able to put any content up. So, but anyway, looking forward to episode 52, 1 year of this show. And I've been thinking a lot about what to do with that, to try to do something different. And I think what I've decided on is, so I need to check my schedule because we're doing a lot of shows, craft shows mostly, but also some other like pop culture shows. And the weekend of that 52nd episode, I'm actually going to be at MonsterCon in San Antonio. It's a mall show and it's all focused on monsters, but we're going to set up the comics and the crochet stuff there. But that's Saturday and Sunday, so I do have Friday free. So what I'm going to do is a live stream, I think. I'm going to do a live stream, and I'll confirm that for 100% sure next week because I want to talk to some people. I'm going to try to see if I can get at least one guest to come on the show and talk about the first. And we'll, instead of doing my usual thing, we'll have a different layout. We'll have a guest, and we'll talk about it in a different way. We'll just kind of expand on it a little bit, so it could be fun. But if that sounds interesting to you, if that sounds fun to you, let me know like what times and stuff, because I'd probably do it a little bit later than I normally post this, because I think I posted around 5 or 6 p.m. Central Time. So I'd probably do it a little bit later to give everybody a chance to get home and everything. So I'll probably do it around like 7, 8. something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I like to do a live show and try to have some guests and come ready with some questions, come ready with some comments. Keep it all friendly, positive. That's what this channel is all about. Only good comics. That's what it's all about. I try to stay positive as much as possible on here, while still being constructive and all that stuff when I need to be, or when I feel like I should be. But yeah, I think that's the plan. It's a very basic thing. This is not a big channel. I don't have a huge audience, and I think this is the best way to do it, because I've never gone. I don't think I've ever gone live on this channel. I go live every week over on Comic Book Weekly with Kat and Mike, but I don't think I've ever gone live on this channel. If I have, it's been very brief, and it's been like announcement stuff. I really don't remember if I have or not. But anyway, I know I haven't for this show, so that could be fun. It could be interactive. We could talk back and forth about what first issues we're looking forward to. We could talk about what's coming out in October, that kind of thing. It could be a fun time, and I'm hoping I can at least get one or two people to stop by, even for a few minutes, even just to pop in and talk about one book or something like that. Anything that I could do. So we'll see what I can put together in that regard, and we'll just have fun with it, right? So I hope you join me, and if this sounds like a fun idea, please leave a comment below and let me know if you're looking forward to that at all. So there you go. That's it. Celebrate 1 year with a live stream and possibly some guests. All right, so if you like all this, if you like this video, this episode of Friday First, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help. Of course, you can hit that subscribe and notification bell if you don't want to miss any of the content going up on this channel, and you don't want to miss that live stream. And of course, you can follow me across social media at Only Good Comics, and type in onlygoodcomics.com to take you right back to this YouTube channel where we talk about only good comics. Until next time, thanks for watching. Happy Friday the 13th. I'll see you real soon. Keep reading those comics, and take care.